So today I'm going to tell you about 4 new products that are being made available to employees of the umbrella group of industrial physics. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how they work, and I'm going to tell you how you'll be able to participate, how we're going to set up that enrollment plan for you. So the reason for this webinar that many of you know that most benefits or all benefits have been unified across industrial physics, and you've recently just been through that process in terms of health insurance. And so this is the next step. And industrial physics wanted to make sure that all employees had access to the same benefits, which is why we're introducing these AFLAC programs that are on a slightly different program or platform than what some of you might be used to. There are a couple of offices out there that have either previously or currently have AFLAC programs available, and some folks are participating in those. And those are on the platform that we call AFLAC Individual. What I'm going to talk about today is same benefits, but being made available on what's called AFLAC Group platform. And the reason for that is that so that the benefits are exactly the same across all states. So employees in Michigan have the same benefits as Delaware, the same benefits as California, okay? So if you are currently enrolled in an AFLAC program, for the most part, and there's an asterisk to this, but for the most part, we are going to transfer or switch over those current AFLAC individual policies to an AFLAC group policy. The exception to that will be that there are folks in the Illinois office who are able to keep a certain line of coverage called their AFLAC cancer program. So if you are listening and you are in Illinois, I'll have additional information for you on that, as will the local agent who comes to visit you, okay? But for the most part, everybody is getting access to the same thing from here on in forward. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about 4 different programs, why they're being made available to you, and how you can enroll. So first and foremost, just to clarify for those folks who may not have heard anything about AFLAC before or may not participated in any AFLAC programs at any other point in time, let me tell you a little bit about why we do what we do and how we're a little bit different. So we are not a health insurance provider. You've got your major medical health insurance already. And we're not a property casualty provider. We don't do auto insurance and we don't do homeowners insurance. But the programs that we do make available to you are available so that you can protect yourself financially in the event of what we call a significant health event. So if you or somebody in the family, immediate family, were to get sick or injured, you would have some additional benefits coming to you from AFLAC. And the reason that we do that the purpose behind major medical health insurance is to make sure that the medical folks that are taking care of you, that they get paid for taking care of you. So when you go to the doctor and you need to be seen and treated, health insurance makes sure that they get paid. AFLAC's programs repay the benefits or the claims money directly to you when something happens, and you get to decide how you need to spend that money. So we do that because we know that when a health event happens, you're spending some kind of money taking care of that situation. So it might be that you're spending money on co-pays, for office visits, you might be meeting the deductible, you might be spending extra money on transportation, you're certainly spending some time taking care of the situation. You might be spending extra money on childcare or food. Maybe you need to order a whole lot of takeout food because you broke your arm and you're not going to be in the kitchen cooking dinner. So when a health event happens, we know that people are spending additional money, and a lot of times their income may be reduced while that's happening. At the same time, while all of that is happening, you still got to pay your regular everyday bills. So you still have to put food on the table and gas in the car and pay the mortgage or pay the rent or make the car payment. So our goal is to give you some additional money so that you can decide how you need to spend it. So you may use it on medical bills, you may use it to pay the mortgage, you can use it at the grocery store. We're going to send the claims money to you, and you get to decide how it's best going to be helpful to you at that time. Okay, so that is the big difference with the AFLAC programs that you now have available to you. So I'm going to tell you about 4 different programs. They work like an a la carte menu, so you can pick and choose and decide what might be good for you and your particular family situation. All of the policies I'm going to tell you about today all have the option to cover spouses and dependent children up to the age of 26. So you can also decide if you would like to cover those folks in your family as well. You'll pay for it through payroll deduction, so you don't have to worry about an extra bill coming into the house. All the business units of industrial physics will be able to set up payroll deduction for you, and they will take care of sending the money to AFLAC for you. So you don't have to worry about that. You've got some very affordable rates available to you. So these programs are designed to be affordable. I feel that they're affordable, and they do cost you less money than if you were to call up a local AFLAC office and try and enroll just as an individual. Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you about the 4 programs, and then we'll talk about the how to enroll bit. So first and foremost, probably our most popular policy nationwide, you can ask any AFLAC agent across the country, is our accident policy. If you've seen any recent ads on TV, seen the duck doing yoga, or perhaps you've seen the commercial where the guy is skiing and he breaks his leg while he's skiing and ski patrol shows up and has to assist him. In general, that ad is really talking about the accident policy. So here's how it works. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat. All right. So here's how it works. You have an accident. It could be a car accident. You could cut your finger cooking dinner. It could be a sports injury. You could trip on the curb, trip over your own 2 feet. As long as you go to the doctor and get that situation checked out, and you get to decide, do you need to go to primary care, or is it really kind of urgent and you've got to get yourself to the emergency room? To get yourself to treatment, to have the situation checked out and evaluated. And we're going to pay you benefits for that first doctor visit. We're going to pay you benefits for follow-up visits and for other care and treatment. Other thing that's going to kick into gear is we're going to pay you based upon the injury itself. So did you break a finger or did you break a leg? Okay, legs are worth more money, but we're going to pay you those benefits. Other significant pieces to this policy are the hospital admission. So should the injury be significant enough, serious enough that you need to be hospitalized overnight, there's a $625 benefit for night number 1 of the hospital stay, and then $150 a day afterwards. So that can be a pretty significant way to make sure that you are not spending too much of your own money dealing with that accident. Excuse me. There are benefits for follow-up visits, for therapy, chiropractor visits, and a whole host of others, but those are kind of some of the most major ones. So again, you can cover other family members, kids, and spouses on this policy. The other cool thing that you have available to you on this policy, which is pretty special, made available for you, there's an annual wellness benefit. So once a year, when you get to the doctor and you have a wellness screening of some kind, for example, an annual physical, we're going to pay you a little bit of money each year that you go and do it. And each year that you are a policy holder, that dollar amount is going to increase. So the first year that you're a policy holder, it's going to be a $25 benefit. Years 2 through 4, it's going to be a $50 benefit. In year 5, it's going to be $75. So it's just some incentive to get to the doctor, to have some kind of routine preventative care, to make sure that you're keeping yourself healthy. And it's also incentivizing you to keep your policy for a longer period of time. The longer you have it, the greater that benefit becomes for you. Regarding claims, it's important I tell you at this point in time that I'll be a point of contact for you for claims help, as will your local agent. And there's never a deadline for filing a claim. So if you are having a very busy year, or it's a really significant accident claim and you just need to focus on getting better and making sure that your household is running well. You don't have to have any extra stress worrying about, are you going to miss the opportunity to file that claim? There's never a deadline. And we file claims. Typically, the most important paperwork is your treatment notes. So we want to know where you went to the doctor, what you were seen for, and when you went and who went. Copay receipts, that sort of thing, it doesn't generally matter to us. It's really about your treatment notes. So at this point, you're probably wondering, well, what in the world it costs? So individual coverage is about $6 biweekly, and two-parent family is about $16.50. It's a little bit under that biweekly. There are other choices in between, but I give you those two numbers just as kind of a snapshot. So you're at a range of $6 to $16 biweekly for the accident policy. And with that wellness benefit, if you file that, you're going to reduce that off your annual premium. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to switch gears. Your next option that you have available to you is a hospital policy. So where accidents is designed to cover accidents, the hospital policy pays benefits for a hospital stay, but that hospital stay can be due to illness, can be due to injury, will also cover maternity benefits. So there are a couple of important details to share about this policy. First and foremost, it is what we call a guarantee issue policy. And that's insurance speak for telling you that everybody in the company is going to be guaranteed insurable, guaranteed covered. Okay, so there's no health questions asked. So if you are managing a chronic condition of some kind, or somebody in the family is, or you've had a really challenging health year this year for some particular reason, and either a hospitalization is perhaps on the horizon, or it's something that you worry about, I want to encourage you to take this opportunity pretty seriously, because this is the only time that it will be available with no health questions asked. So if you say no this year, and next year at open enrollment you decide that you'd like to participate, there will be health questions. So again, no health questions asked, guaranteed insurable for just this year one. Or initial enrollment is what I should say. Okay, so here's how it works. Two parts to this policy. Part one is for everybody in industrial physics. So every state has this set of benefits available. Pays $1,000 for just night number one in a hospital. So it's called the hospital admission benefit of $1,000. And then if you were to stay in the hospital after day two, it pays $150 a day for days 2 through 31. I hope you're not in the hospital for 31 days, but it does happen once in a blue moon. So there are some pretty significant benefits that are going to be really helpful if somebody in the family is hospitalized. There's also a $150 benefit for if you are confined in intensive care. Okay. So these benefits are available to all states and everybody in industrial physics, the hospitalization bit. The next part I'm going to tell you about is for everybody that's outside Massachusetts. So for those folks who are in Delaware, California, Michigan, Illinois, and New York, you have some additional benefits as related to doctor's visits, emergency room visits, major diagnostic exams. There are some small benefits there. Those are designed to be helpful. Kind of think of it if you needed doctor's visits as follow-up from a hospital stay, or maybe there's a pre-op, pre-surgical visit that you need to go do with the doctor. You're going to receive a small benefit of $25 for that, and $100 for major diagnostic exams. And there are also some small inpatient surgery benefits of $250 and $150 if it's outpatient surgery. So again, this is just sort of an additional level of coverage, typically meant to be related to hospital stay. Okay. So for the complete plan that's available to everybody outside the state of Massachusetts, the cost will be $17 biweekly for individual coverage, and about $42 biweekly for two-parent family coverage. Again, just like the accident policy, if you want to cover you and a spouse, or you're a single parent family, you and dependents, those options are available also. I just give you these two sets of choices just for an example. In Massachusetts, the difference is roughly, it's about 50% less. So in Massachusetts, it's about $8 biweekly for individual coverage, and just under $20 biweekly for two-parent family coverage. So a hospital policy pays benefits for hospital stay, and that can be for illness, for maternity, or for accidents. Now, you might be wondering what happens if you have the accident policy and the hospital policy, and there is a hospital stay because of an accident. We will pay benefits for both policies. Whichever coverage is applicable to your situation that you have, we're going to pay benefits on that policy. We don't look to only have one policy pay benefits. And again, that guarantee issue, no health questions asked, just at the initial enrollment. That's pretty important for you to know about. And if you're not entirely sure what that means, or you have your own questions about how that might apply to you, write them down, send them to Melissa, and we will help you with that. Or save them for when your local agent will be on site to help you. Okay, policy number 3, it's a critical illness policy. This one's going to work a little bit differently than the accident policy does, because the accident policy is designed to follow you as you're going through a course of treatment and can pay some kind of ongoing benefits. The critical illness is designed to pay essentially a one-time big fat check in the event of a covered critical illness. So with industrial physics, you have the ability to enroll in a $20,000 lump sum policy. So in the event of a covered critical illness, and I'll tell you what those are in just a second, you're diagnosed with one of the things that I'm about to tell you about, you will receive this $20,000 lump sum check. And again, just like I said earlier, that money is for you to decide. Maybe you need to go for second opinions. Maybe you need help around the house. Maybe you need to modify your work schedule. And you've got short-term disability, but maybe this would be make it a little bit easier to pay all the household bills while you're getting better. There's any number of reasons why you might need some additional money if you were to suffer a critical illness. And that is available to you, again, at the really cool option. I know I sound like a car salesman, but it's called Guarantee Issue, so no health questions asked. So if you are taking blood pressure medication, you've got a family history of heart disease, if you are diabetic, there's any number of reasons that you might want to consider enrolling in this policy because there's no health questions asked. So everyone is able to be insured and is guaranteed covered. All right, so what are the covered critical illnesses? Internal cancer, heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, major organ transplant, sudden cardiac arrest, and bone marrow transplant. And then there are some smaller benefits for coronary artery bypass surgery and a skin cancer benefit. So it's really designed to cover internal cancer. That's why that line item there. Okay, taking a breath here. All right, so here's the other thing that's important about this policy. And I don't wish anybody to have to go down this road and use this sort of feature on the policy. But if you were to suffer a critical illness, have that $20,000 lump sum paid to you, you could be paid again in the event of another critical illness diagnosis. As long as it's separated by 6 months from the first one, if you were to suffer a second event, so a second heart attack or a second stroke, or you were to have a different covered critical illness, say a stroke and then a heart attack, you can also be paid that $20,000 benefit again. So I don't wish that to happen to anybody, but that is an important benefit that's in this coverage that I wanted to be sure to explain. This one also has a health screening benefit. So again, you can see a theme here that we would like to encourage you to get to the doctor on a regular basis, to have regular physicals and that sort of thing. So this one will pay $50 once a year for a preventive care visit. If you were to enroll in the accident policy and critical illness, they're both going to pay you those wellness benefits. Okay, so what does it cost? All right, so if you happen to be under age 40 or about age 40, it's going to cost about $8 biweekly, non-smoker rates. And if you are age 50 or under, it's going to cost about $15 biweekly. Again, non-smoker rates for the $20,000 benefit for you, the employee. You do also have the option to add some spousal coverage if you would like to do that. So we can talk about that when we're on site and help you with those numbers. Okay, last program I want to tell you about is our whole life policy. So you have the ability to buy up to $40,000 in a whole life policy that is guarantee issue, so no health questions asked. So this is another pretty awesome program that you have available to you. You can buy less than $40,000. That's just your max. You can buy up to $40,000 to cover you and for you to leave a $40,000 benefit to your beneficiary. You can also buy more than that. You just have to be able to answer some health questions. There's also spousal coverage available on that, and that one has a max of $5,000 guarantee issue, no health questions asked. All right, so there's a lot of rate variability here, but I'll give you a couple of quick snapshots just so you can have an idea. So if you happen to be age 40 and you want to buy $25,000 in whole life insurance and you're a non-smoker, it will cost about $17 biweekly. If you are if you are age 40 and you want to buy the max, the $40,000 whole life policy, it'll cost $27 and change biweekly. Okay. So 4 different policies: accident, hospital, critical illness, and whole life policy. You get to decide which ones you would like to have, who you might like to have be covered. Again, you can cover spouses and dependent children up to age 26. So you really design it how you would like it to cover your family. So how you're going to enroll. Next week, we will be reaching out to local offices in Delaware, California, and Illinois and Massachusetts and setting up on-site visits. So I'll be going to Massachusetts, and I've got other local agents ready to go visit your local office. We'll be shipping brochures so that you can really dive into the details of what I just shared with you. And we'll be shipping enrollment forms. Those are going to be we're going to do those on paper this year, but you're not going to have to worry about filling it out by yourself. Your local agent is going to help you with that. Okay? If you are not going to be on site or in your office at the time that local agent is going to be there visiting, don't worry. You will still obviously have the opportunity to enroll. I'll have you reach out either to the local agent or to me, and I'm going to help you with that enrollment form and answer any questions that you may have. And lastly, all of this is going to be completed by the end of April. So we'll be wrapping it up by the last week in April and getting you all set up for a June 1st effective date. Okay? So keep your eyes peeled for some information coming to your local offices and for dates to be available for those folks to be helping you on site. And I think that's it for now. Thanks for your time and happy Friday.